When you get calls for traffic in the middle of the night, it's usually someone rolled off the 118 freeway, which I went on plenty of those. Somebody, was driving intoxicated. Somebody fell asleep at the wheel. It's usually traffic collisions at nighttime are usually way worse. And this was what, 2:30 in the morning or 2?
Yeah, I think it was almost 3.
Almost 3 in the morning.
Really late.
Got woken up out of sleep for a traffic collision at 3 in the morning. Those are always the worst ones. They're like, hey, and get there as fast as you can. And I looked at that car, like there's nobody alive in that car. There's no way. And at least on the passenger side. And then I looked in and I saw you were trapped in there. And I'm like, right then, truck 41 came up around the corner and they brought out their Jaws Life and all their extrication equipment.
Was I conscious as you came up?
No, you were out. You were definitely out of it, weren't coherent. You might have been moaning. And my partner, Chris, he jumped in while they were trying to cut the car open and he started an IV on you.
6, Rescue 1, Medic 3, Engine 6, Rescue 1, Medic 3, about at 29 at James Street. For an accident, vehicle overturned, code 3.
It seemed like an eternity for them to get you out of that car. I was like, hurry up. And at that time, I wasn't a fireman, so I didn't really know what was involved in extrication. Yeah, it felt like 2 hours. My partner got a tube, stuck it down your throat, down your trachea, and breathed free, intubated you basically.
Yeah.
I was breathing free, I was squeezing the bag. My partner was securing the tube. I knew that you were on the verge of death.
Yeah.
You were like basically ready to die, and I could tell when someone's that critical. And
I got the tank already ready to go. Pull it out. We'll take it out with him.
like it's like minutes matter, seconds matter. Once my partner told me that you had a pulse and that you were, still hardly breathing, I said, hey, I called him phone CME-ER, and I was like, hey, we're coming as fast as we can. As soon as they get this guy out of the car, we're going to be coming to you with a major critical trauma. Get everything ready, this is serious, And it seemed like an eternity for them to get you out of that car. The passenger side was just smashed in. We got you on a backboard. We basically spent almost no time on scene. We did everything in the ambulance on the way there.
And I received the phone call, I'd say about 6:30. And it was a police officer. He said, your son's been involved in an accident. And I said, yes, okay. I said, is it bad? And he says, sir, they don't have me call unless it's bad. And it seemed like as soon as they went through those doors, 3 nurses bust out of the doors towards me and Jamie. And they grabbed me and they're hugging me and saying, so sorry. And he had passed. He had code blue. So here I am, Jamie, thinking Corey had passed away. And then 30 seconds later, another nurse runs out. False alarm, he's back. Everything's good. And that was the first miracle that I witnessed in Corey's journey. was that first sighting of his injury, in that first instant. And from then on, it was just one after another. It was one amazing victory. You know, every time we would hit these, it was a roller coaster ride. And every time it looked like it was the end, I mean, he would be right there, right at the brink of leaving us. And for some reason, he'd come back. It was a miracle.
I spent the next 2 months in the hospital, a month in which I was in a coma. When I awoke from that coma, like, one of the first things that I remember was just having more tubes wrapped around me, and my jaw was broken in 3 different places. I had a broken clavicle, 2 collapsed lungs. My vision was black when I first awoke. I remember going to grab for my leg, and my dad and my mom were in the room right there. And, you know, before I could even sit up, my dad kind of grabbed me, and, you know, we both just started crying. He's like, "We're in this together, man. We're in this together." And I just remember thinking, what happened? This is just, what happened? And he said, "You were in an accident." I knew immediately. He didn't even have to say anything else. I didn't need to know it was a car accident, or I knew that it had something to do with my reckless partying and my irresponsible ways, and just sort of living that reckless lifestyle. And I realized that it was most likely due to some poor choices. A lot of people ask me how I handled such a life-changing event. I remember the first couple of weeks coming home from the hospital, and every morning I'd open my eyes and I would expect to see, and it was just dark.
And the day we walked out of there was pretty much when they said, "Here's a doctor, go see him, and he'll check the eyes." So they still kind of gave hope. And that day, the day I took Corey, we were living in Palm Desert, and I drove Corey to Thousand Oaks to see the doctor. And I think for Corey and for me, that was the single toughest day of his ordeal. Because it wasn't, when Corey was hurt, it was more, I was the one hurting, and his mom was hurting, and his family was hurting. Corey was in a coma. He didn't know.
So, Corey, are you seeing anything right now?
Mm-mm.
Nothing in the right eye?
No.
What about the left eye?
No.
Corey, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, the swelling has suffocated the optic nerve, and there's no way we can repair the damage. It's called traumatic optic neuropathy.
Nothing you can do?
No, honey, I'm so sorry. You're gonna be blind the rest of your life. I'm sorry, Corey. I wish there was something we could do. I'm really sorry.
So, wheeled him out outside, right outside of the door. It was raining, dark day. And Corey said, "Dad, what am I gonna do?" And I had no answer. I didn't say a word. What do you say? I had no answer. We cried, got in the car, and drove back to Palm Desert.
So I'll turn this just a quarter turn. Oh man, that's in there.
Pick this key back up.
I think it's. Well, and Grant and I've been walking out of alignment for a good 5 weeks now on that other one.
I feel like you're long step, short step. Feel like you're long step, short
A
step?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it's the guide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried. I'm
So let's.
No. So over the next couple of years, I recovered physically and got myself back to a healthy state. I've always been really strong, and I've always been very stubborn, and I was gonna prove that I was gonna come out of this, and I was gonna handle it, and I was gonna be fine. But emotionally inside, I was messed up, and I didn't know how to handle it. One of my coaches at the time had approached me and asked if I was interested in actually competing in CrossFit. And when he asked me if I was interested in competing in CrossFit, I was thinking more of maybe adaptive CrossFit. I didn't know at that time how many adaptive athletes were, involved in CrossFit, if there was any.
If we're gonna do this, you have no choice. We've got a couple months to prepare you for a competition, and this has never been done.
And, he sat me down and he's like, well, there's a competition in Phoenix, one of the bigger competitions, and what do you think about competing on a team? So it'd be 2 females, 2 males. I'd be one of the males, and going in and competing in an able-body competition. So that was just like, I got excited of the thought of competing in an able-body competition. But then it raised the question of, okay, how am I gonna do this? And that was when I first learned of how important the engine is in CrossFit. I got through that first round and I was thinking in my head, like, what in the heck did I get myself into? I had been doing CrossFit. I had done some WODs before that. I had been to that, dark place, but this was so beyond that dark place. I had sweat dripping off of me, pouring off of me. I was drooling. Like I was so disoriented. I think going from the wall balls to the squat cleans as I was walking over, like I felt like I was gonna fall over. I was seeing stars, and Kenny's just like, come on, Corey, you got it. Come on, get to that barbell. Get to that box, another rep, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I've never been like to such a, I've never been so physically depleted.
This is about just coming in, putting in the work, knowing that you came away tougher. We're a real good group energy today. People fought hard, and that's all we're trying to do.
I just remember like the gym being like not lit, and I remember like we were just all kind of keeping our distance. And we were all super quiet is what I remember. And I just remember him feeling around for the box and jumping and then coming back down and feeling around for the box. And I don't know why it was so charged and emotional that anything was possible for him. And if for him, then for us. I don't know why we all got that same feeling, but I just remember it being pretty emotional, that we all got pretty like choked up about it,
My man. Hell yeah.
That's it.
What's a good word, dude?
It's not really about times, it's about just staying in the fight. this CrossFit competition, and the amount of training and the amount of volume that goes into this was a lot, and it took a lot out of me.
So 5 minutes before the third workout, they changed the movement, the opening movement on us, and it was a deadlift. They changed it to a sumo deadlift high pull, which I had never done. So we're just like running over to the warm-up area, the whole team, and they're literally teaching me how to do a sumo deadlift high pull. I don't even know if I'm doing it right, and next thing you know, we're back out on the floor and right in it.
Any of you guys that do CrossFit, you all know that dark place, and you know that feeling of fatigue, and that lactic acid is just burning, and you're locked up, and you're so fatigued, and you're like, oh my gosh, just like, when is this gonna be over? And that had set in. It was like I came off the pull-up bar, and I hitch up with Nikki, and we take off, and all of a sudden, boom, my feet are taken out from underneath me.
You know, a crowd of 1,500 people go, ooh, and it makes a lot of noise when a big crowd of people. And there was a lot of eyes on him because they knew that was the blind amputee competing with able-bodied people. So everybody was sort of watching that.
We went down, we touched the line. He's holding my arm the whole time. So I touch the line and I pivot and I turn.
And I go flying and I hit the ground. And I didn't even have time to think about it. I didn't even have time to process it.
I ran him into a barbell, and there was no thinking. It was kind of like a fight or flight moment. I saw him go down. I remember just picking him up, grabbing him. I think before he hit the ground, I think at that point his knee had hit the ground, but his chest and body had not been on the ground. I grabbed his body and I pulled him up, and I just kept running. And I remember telling him, keep running, you're fine. Like, I was mortified, not during the moment, like 2 seconds after. I was like, oh my God, I just threw Corey into a barbell. That was the one thing I wasn't supposed to do.
And instead of it being a big deal, Corey looked at her and yelled at her and said, get me up, let's go.
And you guys, I got to get up to Kenny, this guy right here, because honestly, I wouldn't
The whole time I was riding on Kenny's confidence, it was just a moment for me where I was like, you were right, coach. You were right, and we did it.
outstanding performance, performing and competing with courage, heart, intensity, and passion. Corey Reed, ladies and gentlemen, second row next to here. You guys will next to it. Congrats, all.
Car came flying over the train tracks, smashed into the tree, and rolled. And that's where I lost my vision, and I lost my leg, and I thought I lost my life. I don't think my team will ever realize how much they affected me and changed me and opened a door for me. Kayla, I used to sit and wonder if I would ever find the perfect girl. And I really did wonder if she was out there. And she's standing in front of me right now. And I would not want to be anywhere else in the world but standing right here with you, asking you to be my wife. You're the most incredible woman that I've ever met. You're passionate, you're caring, you're sensitive, you care so much about people. And you've taught me so many things in my life, and made me a better person.
I mean, when the world looks at us, they see us as, they consider us two broken people.
Mm.
And I know that when God puts us together, we become something unbreakable and something more perfect and more special than we were when we're separated. And it's ironic, really, because even though you have a prosthetic, you balance me and you strengthen me and you make me a better person. And I'm so grateful for that.
Take your eyes off yourself and to rely on your teammates. To win in team. In fact, you can't get through life alone. You need a teammate.
He said, all right, go grab your rucksacks and get lined up on the asphalt outside. And we were all kind of, even at that point, physically beat down. You know, we had done like 10 workouts, so we were all feeling it. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and we were training with Navy SEALs, not knowing what was about to happen. So we get out on the asphalt, we get into attention. I'm trying to, you know, listen to everybody. It was really hard being blind. Then that was it. It was like 3, 2, 1. Then the game changed.
Everybody! 2 lines! Everybody through the aisle! Get one in, out the other! Everybody go! Head first! Go! Get the wall! Get the wall! Don't shoot anybody! Get in the first! Get the all step now! Whoa! Panic! Slow down! Slow down! Go back! You go back! Turn around! Go back! Control yourself, Kate! Control yourself, Corey! It's just ice! Good for you! 3 seconds under.
So stage 1 hypothermia, you get your basic shaking, a little bit of teeth chatter, nothing too serious. Stage 2 hypothermia, you start shaking uncontrollably and people can hear your teeth chattering from probably a mile away. Stage 3, you're dead. They basically had us in between stage 1 and stage 2 hypothermia. I have never been so cold in my entire life. Point where we, had pretty good control of ourselves in this ice bath. So Shane's like, feels pretty good, doesn't it? I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's still damn cold. Like, I want to get out of this thing. And he's like, open your mouth. Huh? He's like, open your mouth. Like, open my mouth up. And he shoves this water bottle in it. It's just a basic water bottle with the end of it cut off. And he's like, that's your snorkel. He's like, all right, when I say go, you're gonna go underneath the water and you're not gonna come up until I tap on the side. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm like, immediately, fear sets back in. So I start shaking uncontrollably, can't even get a hold of myself, and right there he starts coaching me again. Like, hey, get a hold of yourself. You're not cold. Just focus on your breathing.
Lay down, Corey.
The whole intention through the SEALFIT experience is that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought you were. And it was just powerful. Like, everybody finished. Like, everybody, had that initial doubt, I'm sure, like I did. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this. And then we finished it. So after we finish, everybody rolls around on the ground and it's like catching their breath and they're feeling amazing. And they're like, I can't believe we just did this. And Mark brings everybody back in the room and takes us through this yoga, warrior yoga session. So we're laying on the ground going, through this little warrior yoga session, and that was the first time where I was like, maybe we're done. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is how he ends it. So you kind of get more and more comfortable. Then we have a few people fall asleep, like athletes are dozing off. Because mind you, we've been going for like 11, 12 hours now. I mean, we were physically and mentally drained. So right as you're just slipping into like full relaxation state, almost to the point where you're asleep, all of a sudden you got 10 SEALs kicking every door down with bullhorns and yelling everything you could imagine.
You cannot get past me! You can't get past me! I'm gonna be here all day in your head! How about one, coach? How about one? 6 inches! 1, 2, 3! Get your head off the deck! Go, Gary. Up! Come on, Lil! Walk away from Push up position! Sideways, 1, by yourself. Feet. 6 inches!
I signed up for this event and I showed up thinking that it was going to be this physical test, like, can I hang with Navy SEALs? But really, what I got out of the whole entire experience was how to manage fear.
As media coordinator for Ride with Core, one of my jobs is to follow Corey with cameras and put them wherever they need to be. Sometimes that's a real challenge. We were invited to Yosemite National Park for a special climb on September the 11th in honor of our fallen heroes. Corey and I hadn't climbed in years. We only had 30 days to prepare for a 1,000-foot rock wall. To add to the challenges, we wanted to follow Corey with cameras to document the event. We weren't climbing for ourselves. We also had been inspired by a young man named William Thompson.
So we just pulled up to William's house. We're out in Little Rock, California, which is about an hour from Los Angeles. William's 8 years old. He's a little shredder on a skateboard. We were totally inspired by him when we met him down in Venice. Well, we actually hadn't met him personally yet. We just reached out to him on Facebook.
When he was 9 months old, they did his first surgery. They had to amputate part of his leg below the knee so that he could fit into a prosthetic properly.
When I was in preschool, I didn't know that I had my leg amputated, and I kept telling everyone that it was bitten off by a shark, and I crashed my motorcycle. I didn't even know.
You got it.
I thought it was as big as this, and I'm just going to put it right here.
But it's a little bigger than you thought? We got you like a real music size poster.
You see what it says on it?
Yeah.
What's it say?
Ride with Core.
And in climbing, a big part of the game is mitigating the risk. It's not eliminating risk, it's mitigating risk and managing it.
We had started off early morning with plenty of time for the ascent. We were moving with a large party. But the problem was Yosemite was experiencing a heat wave. The temperatures soared, and we were stuck on a ledge waiting for climbers above. We knew something had to be wrong. Turns out climbers were getting dehydrated, and rangers were above us rescuing a dehydrated climber. As we sat there baking in the sun, we realized we were already running out of water. As they lowered the climber past us, we realized this could get real challenging, real quick. I think it was also feeling the weight of Corey's announcement on the way into the park that he had a new baby on the way. The wind was making communication difficult. There were moments where Corey had no guide. He was alone on the rock and he had to find his own way. I had absolute confidence in him with all we have been through, CrossFit, SEALFit. The training had prepared him well, and we needed all of it. Climbing is a mental game as much as it is a physical game. Physical strength will only get you so far.
I was there for 10 minutes in pretty much the same spot. I probably tried 15 different holds.
Yeah.
Different variations, and I don't even know how I ended up getting through it. That's what burnt me. That's what I was pouring sweat. It was a mental game for sure. A few times though, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this for William. Ready to climb!
I know one thing for sure. Climbing that rock face without being able to see it is mind-boggling. The extra fuel he needed, without CrossFit, he'd have been done. And I would have been done too.
Right on. So I'm going to investigate.
Okay.
I want you guys to hang out in the shade, enjoy this.
I'm so thirsty right now.
I know, dude. My lips are burning.
And I'm all about safety. It's a different ball game when you start, like you said, you start getting tired and thirsty and hungry. And it's funny how you take water for granted, when you're at home.
Totally.
Don't you?
Yeah.
It's like...
I won't tonight. I think I'm going to drink all of our water.
Mm-hmm.
It was an amazing experience to honor our fallen and to be an inspiration to William so that he can do whatever he sets his mind to. We had huge confidence in our lead climber, Matt Robertson. He always made everything look easy. But we cut out just before the top because we were dehydrated and the sun was going down. All of a sudden, things got more difficult and scarier than anything previously that day. Matt had tied himself to Corey and we were walking across steep ledges that I found myself crawling over.
Nice and slow.
I was thinking of Corey's dad down below. I was thinking of the new baby, all the things we'd been through. I just prayed nothing went wrong on the way down. It was all we could do to get off that rock.
Nice.
I'm gonna put her on my neck right now.
sure.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Nice little
Dude,
source.
Are you sure?
Oh, dude, yeah, that's our thing.
Dude, thanks, man. I'll give you a hug.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely.
Dude, today's awesome.
good
Yeah,
on you.
really
For
awesome.
sure. Oops, sorry about that.
One of the best days I've had in a really long time, man. I'm not gonna forget this.
Nice.
Really. I hope
Likewise, man.
Let's do it again.
Please?
Yeah. Really? Let's
No.
do it again. Hands up.
Yeah, no, let's for sure do it.
Yeah.
That was
It's like you
amazing.
rocked it, dude. You rocked it, and I'm not kidding what I said. You're right now. Today, you did a great job of following, but at some point, don't discount the possibility that you could be on the other end of the rope. You know it's possible.
Yeah. Totally.
If you want it.
No, for sure.
But I'd be psyched anytime to go climbing with you, to hang out, whatever. You're an inspiration.
You're in one of my favorite places, Bishop.
Nice.
Grady Reed was born April the 10th, 2015 at 12:35 a.m.
I was almost afraid to tell people we were pregnant, which is really silly, because I knew people would react. I never once doubted my ability, but I knew they would, and it's like, it goes back to that whole, you have to deal with everybody else's feelings a lot and their opinions about your life and what they believe you can do. And I knew that this would be one more thing that we were gonna have to prove that we can do. And it's funny because the things that I was afraid of about being a parent, everybody didn't think of those things at all. Like, my biggest concern was, how in the world am I gonna haul this car seat around, because I don't drive a car. I have to take a car seat everywhere I go. How in the world am I gonna do that, carry a baby and work a guide dog? Like, that was my fear, but no one ever thought about that. They were more concerned about, how was I gonna tell if he had a diaper rash? Or how was I gonna change his diaper? Or how was I gonna match his clothes?
Hi, I'm the bear. I'm the bear. You like apples? Can you say apples? Apple.
Wanna read the book? Ooh.
Apple.
You love food, don't you, Bub?
You don't want no more?
Where is the scaly fish?
It's like running through an open door. It's like finding what you're looking for. We've been waiting, we won't wait no more. Every season, every memory made, all the dreaming led us here today. Can you see it? We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on, we got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Never felt my heart beat so wild while the sunset sets the night on fire. You and me here, and it feels so right. We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on, we got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come.
One another and to grow in that love. We get to celebrate the love today that Corey and Kayla have for one another. This love, you know, your love does have a starting date. Sometimes it's not that.